Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be reviewing the new Toyota Land Cruiser. This one is a mid-trim, and in my opinion, this is the best package to get on the new Land Cruiser. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Alpine Overland here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Land Cruiser. This one and several others are currently available for sale. They have stock Land Cruisers, they also have modified Land Cruisers, as well as other Toyota product and just other cars in general. So check out the website in the description down below. Let's get into the review. So powering this is a turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder hybrid that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 326 horsepower and then 465 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you can see how it's raised there on either side, really cool. And then with the mid-trim, you get the squared off headlight design, which very interesting and kind of makes it look boxier overall. But notice the fog lights still circles down below. You also get this section painted here unlike the 1958, and so when you put it all together, definitely a cool look. Now our tire wheel setup is 265 by 60 by 20 in the front and over in the rear. You can get 18-inch wheels or 20-inch wheels on the Land Cruiser depending on what you're looking for, but pretty fancy setup. And look, it still has the factory markings. Everything was checked. I love that. You can see the fender flare here, and then we've got the side steps on this particular one. You got the boxy mirror caps, and then this one has the factory roof rack, which I really like because it doesn't cause any wind noise. It's nice, but there's your side profile. Now this leads us to the key fob. We have our lock and unlock function, opening for the hatch, Land Cruiser logo as well. Hold that down and then it'll pop the hatch right open. Now, the only downside about the new Land Cruiser is the load floor is a little bit higher because of the battery, so that is something to note. Notice you get cup holders here because in other markets you actually have a third row option available with the new Land Cruiser. You can see here with the outlet here in the back. And then when you're all done, just press that. You can also press the lock button too from the rear. I like the taillight design here in the back too, pretty cool looking. Got the bezel that covers the receiver hitch as well. Land Cruiser logo there. And yeah, that's all for the exterior. Now popping into the rear, you guys can see here with the soft touch down below as well. And look at the seats, pretty fancy. With all the trim, easy to clean too. Got the nice floor mats here. Now the Land Cruiser's got, I mean, it's a pretty big SUV. Good legroom back here. Got a little storage pocket. Got our own climate zone here in the rear, some USBs as well. And then good headroom too. Now popping up front, keyless entry, and you can see here with the soft touch, same thing down below. All of our window controls here. The mirrors do power fold in. They also have blind spot monitoring. Payload on the new Land Cruiser is pretty decent, 1,100 pounds. And then again with the front seat perforated all down the center. Power adjustments. The passenger seat is manually adjustable. Steering wheel is power adjustable. And then you got trailer brake controls down below. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you can see we've got nice trim all around, and I will say so far my steering wheel trim has held up pretty darn well, so I like what they're doing here. We've got adaptive cruise control with our lane centering. We've got our voice command controls, volume controls on the other side. It's all very straightforward with the controls. And then you do have traditional stocks here on the back. Now we do have a full digital gauge cluster here in the center. That is one thing that some people might not be too fond of. You know, they might like the more analog setup, but shows you a bunch of different bits of information, which is nice. Now, even with the quote-unquote mid-trim, you still get a 360 camera system. A lot of the added features with the premium are kind of just luxury stuff, so it's cool that you still have that. And then infotainment system, got a little volume control there, but easy enough to use with all of the functions. And then down below, we've got our controls here for the heated and ventilated seats. Dual zone climate as well. Got a little camera button. And then you get the drive mode select as well as the multi-terrain select and crawl control with this package. You also get the shifter here that looks pretty nice with all the trim. Got your parking brake and auto hold. And then you get center and rear locking differential set up here. 2-speed transfer case, stabilizer, bar disconnect. This is one thing you don't get in the 1958. And then you can see here at the stability control. Got some cup holders there. No cool box, again, luxury feature that you get in the Premium, but nice trim here on the top. Same thing all across the dash. And then just a regular rear view mirror, and then we do have a sunroof up top as well. Now, depending on how you option it out, most of these mid-trim Land Cruisers are going to be in the mid-60s, typically for the MSRP price. Let's see how it performs. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, both the mirrors, do a blind spot ring, and through the rest of the rear. Let us set off. Again, what I have argued is the best packaging in the Land Cruiser, because, and I think the Premium's really cool too, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's basically what I have with my first edition, is a Premium with the circular headlights and first edition in the door panel that costs too much money for those options. But anyways, it's such a nice car. Again, you look at the pricing of these, I think it's like before destination, I think it's like 63 or something roughly, and then after destination charge you're like 64, and then this has the roof rack and the side steps, so this one's probably like a, I don't have the window sticker, but I'm guessing the original MSRP on this is like, I don't know, 66-ish, something, maybe a little bit more than that, because I think the roof rack's, maybe it's $1,400, I can't remember. But either way, this is a nice car, sub $70,000, and in terms of like off-road capability, this has everything that the Premium has, right? It has the stabilizer bar disconnect, it has the multi-terrain selection crawl control, it has it all. And something that I will argue in today's video is I think that this is the best Toyota SUV to get if you're going to be doing off-roading. So I'm saying better than the new 400 TRD Pro, better than the Lexus GX 550 Overtrail, and I'll kind of explain that as we're going about. But really comfortable ride. So the new Land Cruiser, although it's body on frame, it is buttery smooth with the drive, and it handles really well too. Again, most body on frame vehicles tend to have quite a bit of body roll, and this is going to have more body roll than, say, I'm trying to think of it, like Land Rover Defender. Well, actually no, the Defenders are so heavy that they kind of, funny enough, this feels like tighter with the turn-in than a Defender, but than a unibody vehicle in general. But in the new Land Cruiser, they've made it more car-like. So I think that for people that don't like the big heavy truck feel, they're really going to like this new Land Cruiser Prado, because it doesn't have that big heavy truck feel. And then the interior in this is really nice. Again, the touch points, like, it's stuff that you can tell is going to hold up really well over the long term, and I don't know, just feels nice in general. So it's kind of like a big plus overall, and it has decent, quite a bit of tech. Torque's good out of this engine. In stock format, this thing's a monster. It's got tons of power. Again, these are pretty, I think Toyota expects people to put bigger tires on it, because these are pretty small, not tiny tires, but they're relatively small tires compared to what I've seen put on the new Land Cruiser, and so it moves them, no problem. This is kind of like the fuel economy spec. If you if you just want to get good fuel economy daily drive Land Cruiser, then you keep the stock tire set up. But yeah, handles really well, and suspension's comfortable. It's not quite as comfortable as the new Lexus GX, but it's more than, again, in isolation, you drive this, you're like, yeah, it does feel kind of body on frame like, but it's really refined. It really is. So to sum things up here with the non-premium is what I meant with the new Land Cruiser, I think this is a really good value, because a 400 TRD Pro's basically, after, you know, everything's said and done, you know, destination and all of that, it's gonna be like 70 grand. And then a Lexus GX 550 Overtrail, most of the ones that I see are 72,000 for Overtrail without the added options. So this being in the mid 60s, right, it's less money than both of those, and it has the same off-road capability. Now, I understand that some people are gonna say, well, the shocks and the suspension on the TRD Pro 4Runner, or the, you know, Trail Hunter 4Runner, and I hear you on that, but this is ultimately, even though it's not a full-size Land Cruiser, it's still a Land Cruiser Prado. The suspension's comfortable enough off-road, and it can handle stuff. Like, I've driven a Trail Hunter, Tacoma off-road, and I've driven one of these off-road because I happen to own one, And I can tell you, it has more than enough ride comfort, everything's, and it's so capable off-road. I was saying, this looks amazing and it drives really well. I don't know, it just seems like the most balanced out of the bunch. I'd like to get a three-way comparison, 4Runner versus GX versus this new Land Cruiser, and you know, hopefully I'll be able to get that someday soon. But I mean, driving, I've done Land Cruiser versus GX, and I don't know, looking at them all in isolation, this one just seems to be, even though it doesn't have the V6, seems to be the most appealing. Let me know your thoughts on this, and let me know if you'd rather get this or a 4Runner, because I mean, at 50, let's see, 60 something, because you could get like a 4Runner Tier D off, no, you get a Tier D off-road. So if you do a Tier D off-road premium 4Runner, which is what this kind of would technically compete against, I don't know, you're looking at like over 60 now, I think. Anyways, see ya.